Ah, yes.
The climax is
The
there.
climax is there only, yes.
That Mary Magdalene is buried,
Buried underneath.
which is fake.
I know, it is. The
Fiction.
bloodline theory was totally fake in that. But yeah, it
Just-
caused a lot of intrigue. The Louvre is also shaped accordingly and all those.
No. The theory is, of course, it's a theory, it's a conspiracy theory, but it has a lot of factual things integrated into it. But the imagination of saying where the burial ground was complete fiction.
I know.
That he had to come up
Correct,
with. Yeah,
correct.
so-
But it did cause a lot of.
No, it was an
buzz.
incredible book, and it changed the tourism for Paris.
Paris,
the
yes.
number of American and world tourists started coming because of that. Just
Yep.
one book, just to go and see all those sights and sounds that they had read about.
Yes. There was the Last Supper painting, which got a
Yeah.
lot of attention.
So if you go to the Louvre, and people talk about the Mona Lisa a lot, which is great, but it is the painting, which is also Da Vinci painting
Yes.
right across the Mona Lisa. It is a depiction. It's not the Last Supper, but it is a dinner scene where
Correct.
where Christ is there and a lot of other people. It's a gigantic painting. Gigantic
Yes.
as in it's from the floor to the roof. It's called the Marriage at Cana or Dinner at Cana. The Marriage at Cana.
Marriage at Cana. Okay.
The Marriage at Cana. It's a mind-boggling painting, and there is Christ in that painting. It's one of the about 200 characters
in that fresco entirely. That.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's incredible.
But Inferno is much better. The one which is on
My
Vatican.
favorite, I know, but my favorite is Angels and Demons.
Angels and Demons. Yes.
Incredible.
Freemasons. all
Because
that.
because that's inside the Vatican City.
Yeah.
So, the whole
Fantastic.
conspiracy of the Pope being selected and all of that.
Yes. Fantastic theory. Yeah.
Anyway, hello and welcome to a Dugout, where it is a question and answer session. And the reason I decided to have this is because the last 3 weeks or so been very hectic, and I know a lot of you sent your comments, whether it was via Sports Today, whether it was via our videos, or tagging us on social media like X and Instagram and wherever else, and so many questions came throughout these last 3 weeks. Unfortunately, because I was on the move, never had the opportunity of answering a lot of questions, doubts, positive feedback, negative feedback, whatever people had, never had the opportunity to address those. Even if you had a grievance, even if you hated what we did or you liked what we did, didn't have time to appreciate if you said something nice, didn't have time to put our point of view if you criticize something that we had done, because as I said, we were so caught up with just bringing you the news and updates from Paris that never really had time to sit back, relax. And while the Olympics effectively got over on 11th for us, but because of the verdict, Vinesh Phogat verdict, the Olympics were carrying on. So I can say that today,
Olympics
16th
ended,
of
yeah.
August, that we are sitting, we finally have had a chance to sit back and now reflect back at all that happened during the Olympics, and many things did. So if you have any questions, doubts, as I said, positive feedback, negative feedback, whatever, maybe we can try and address that. That is the aim of this session. If you have any cricket questions, I will quite smartly and fastly hand it over to Siddharth, because truth be told, I just didn't get time to follow cricket during these 3 weeks. I'll slowly and gradually I'll get back into the groove of whatever that happened. In fact, I was sitting with them and taking some notes as to the owners meet that happened, the Sri Lanka series that happened, the decision to have seniors play in Dulip Trophy, so on and so forth. All these things I'm just picking up. I did not even have time to see a cricket scoreboard at that time, let alone see the highlights of the match. So that is how it was. So let's get down to business.
Yes.
Please do keep sending your questions as we go along. We'll go on for the next 40-45 minutes, whatever it takes. So let's start with the first question. If only Shubham allows us. Okay. Shubham Garg. Nikhil sir, did you discuss anything with Dravid during tennis game? Was it about tennis or cricket or something else? Please share with me. Very interesting question. Thank you for reminding me. See, again, it feels like so long ago that, so this is going to be totally unfiltered, everything that so if you know that I was in touch with Rahul Dravid during the World Cup, we were there, they won, and I had a chance to have a brief discussion with him about cricket in Barbados after the final, because they were stuck there briefly, but could not carry on because we were also busy with moving here and there, so did not have time to discuss much with him. But I knew he had told me that over a exchange of messages, he had told me that he'll be coming because I had mentioned that I'll be going for the Paris Games, and he had mentioned to me that he will be coming. And then I got to know which date he will be coming through somebody else. I got to know, and then he was to attend a function, and I thought I'll go and catch him for that function. Unfortunately, I could not, because I had to go and interview the young 14-year-old Dinidhi swimmer. So I had actually I had planned my day in a way that I would go to the swimming arena in the morning, interview her, and this function was around afternoon, evening for Dravid. I will reach there. But then I could not catch Dinidhi there at the swimming event. It was pretty crowded. Then I actually went to a hotel. By the time I finished, I did not have time, and distances are far, right? So it takes 1 hour here, there, wherever. So I was going to miss it. Then I got to know that he is also going to come and watch the tennis game that night. Rohan Bopanna was playing, and that was late. So his function was in the evening, but the tennis match was later at night.
Correct.
So I said, okay, I can't make the function in the evening, but I can make the night match for Bopanna. So I went straight for the night match, and sure enough, he was there. Then I went and sat next to him, and we basically chatted about. Maybe we can shorten the titles, Shivam, please see that a lot of them are not visible only. Please shorten them as well. There'll be few more that came after that, just not visible. So then I spoke to him, and we spoke about tennis that day.
Yeah.
And boy, he was a total fan. He was cheering Rohan on, his fellow. I mean, of course, he came to cheer India, but Rohan being a fellow Bangalorean, he was like totally pumped up that day. Come on, Ron, come on, do it. And he was cheering like a fan whenever they were hitting a good point. So it was nice to see Rahul Dravid enjoy as a fan watching Rohan Bopanna play. And that's what I saw, and we discussed the game that day. Things like, look how good Rohan is hitting his forehands. Look how that match was against what's that French player, Gail Monfils. So the match was against Gail Monfils, and how he's putting Gail Monfils under pressure. Where are they going wrong? So it was typically about tennis. I did speak to him about cricket, and he said that let it be. I really am not in a mood to talk about cricket. He said I have too much. I asked him that let's do an interview. He said, please, if I do one with you, how much pressure I have of the who's who wanting to speak to me, and I've said no. As soon as I speak to you, I will be like, and I understood that. I said, you enjoy the games. And then he went for hockey the next day. For those of you who don't know, he was a hockey player in his school time. He played for St. Joseph. That's the school he went to. They have a good hockey team. Played quite decent level, school level hockey as well.
India, Ireland. Dravid attended the hockey game.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think that was the match. Now I tend to forget. But he did see a hockey match. So he has keen interest. He played hockey as a kid. So that's what I discussed with Rahul Dravid. That's Shubham's question. Okay.
Vardhan
Mhatre says, will the Paralympic contingent meet with a PM before going to Paris, or are they already in Paris?
Yeah, so today was the Paralympic contingent send-off that was going to happen. About 17 to 18 athletes attended that. Now, most of them are already in Paris. For example, Sheetal Devi is in Paris. Suhas Yatiraj, the badminton player, is in Paris. And most of them are leaving in batches at this point, because the Paralympics is going to begin from August 28th onwards. So some will be leaving in batches. Today was the last day of the interactions. Initially the send-off and the interactions was going to happen on the 20th. But then they decided to do it on the 16th so that it gives them time to leave at this point. So 10 days prior to the start of the event, most of the 84 contingents will be there in Paris of India. The largest ever contingent, by the way. I don't think they will get time to meet the Prime Minister. I think they'll meet them after the event is done on September 8th. Because you are expecting a good haul even from the Paralympic contingent this time around also. So that is most of the videos that I've done on Sports Today will be up after this Q&A. So do check that out. 5 exclusive interviews that we have done of our stars. So do check that out.
Okay, Dipyaman Majumdar is saying, which model of bringing medals do you think we should follow? The Chinese/Soviet model or the Western model? That I think is a brilliant question, Dipyavam, I mean, it gets me thinking. But I would, if I was to formulate a roadmap for Indian Olympics going forward, win medal, I would have to go with the Chinese/Soviet model over the Western model, and I'll tell you why I say that. If you joined our discussion that day when we were discussing whether India, how should we see India's 6 medals in a positive light, or should we be disappointed that they've not really delivered as you expect them to? In that, see why I say you have to follow the Russian and the Chinese model, because those are state-run models, right? Whereby state spends money on organizing coaches, identifying talent, creating infrastructure, and then through that, so just as state spends money in building roads and various other things, similarly they spend money on sports, because it's a moment of pride for the country per se when you pick up medal. So you have to take it as a state subject, and Western countries don't do it simply because there are various reasons for it. One, as I said, they have a sporting culture, so the state doesn't need to step in. It's like seeped into their culture that everyone plays sport. Secondly, again, because of the kind of funds that they have, that infrastructure is available to everyone. Also, there is not too much population load on those countries, so the sporting infrastructure they've made, whether those are grounds to play, stadiums to play, tracks to run on, all of that is available for the common people. And because the population load isn't too much, everyone can access it and get enough tennis court. There are public tennis courts and everything that you can play. The thing in India is access is available only through your club membership or various other things. So it's only limited to a few section of society that can access tennis courts, swimming pools, running tracks, whatever, various things. If state starts making it, and they do, the maintenance is an issue, keeping them in check is an issue. So which is why I think the Chinese-Russian thing is the way to go, that they create the infrastructure. Also in the Western world, you can choose to follow sport till an age group of 20, 22, 23 without really bothering about what will you do in life and how will you make a living. You can focus on sport completely and do a part-time job, and that part-time job, even if I'm a barista in a coffee shop and I'm also, let's say, a pole vaulter, I can give 3 hours for pole vaulting in the morning and evening and do my job as a barista, and I'll make enough money as a barista to pay my rent, enough money to eat, buy a car, pay mortgage for a car and everything, and I can live a decent life. In India, for you to live a decent life, you can't, right? You have to have education, you need to have degrees, you need to pass competitive exams or do anything to have a decent living. Because a lot of job, if I was just to do these jobs, it will not pay me that much. So what do? I'll leave sport and I have to focus on my livelihood, especially when I'm getting married. In the Western world, you don't have to. Even if you're married, you can support your family with any sort of a job. Even if I was to drive Uber for a few hours, I'll make enough money to support my kids' education, live a decent life. So then you don't need the state to step in. And that's why the Western world, even with the crowdfunding, people paying, your own funding and their own coaches, you can manage. In the Russian and the Chinese model was that, okay, we'll take you under our wing, you've shown talent through a talent system, and now we're going to pay. we're paying for everything. The family will be looked after. We're going to pay for everything to manage you, also give you a state job, whatever, in the police and whatever.
Yes.
So all of that has to be done. And I think in India, because again of the labor hierarchy that we have,
and the system in place.
Yeah, so the Chinese and the Russian model would be the better option. That's the only way you can get more medals.
It is a khichdi. See, in India also, until the 90s, we just had government. We didn't have any private players in the arena at that point.
See, even now when the private players are coming, so that's the private players aren't making money out of this.
Yes.
There is no, so they can never be, it's not like cricket or wherever that if I'm as a private player, I come in, there is something for me at the end because I can make that sustainable and I can make money. Whichever private players that are working in the field of Olympic sport, they are all getting money through crowdfunding, various other or companies, CSR, they're taking money and helping the athletes out. They're not profitable, they're not making, so it's like a CSR kind of an activity. That's why I say that in India, for you to get medals, you'll have to pump in the state money.
Yes.
So the taxpayer money that goes, that will only have to be pumped in for athletes to do well. Athletes can't take care of themselves in the system that they are. So because they will have to choose between a job,
correct,
vis-a-vis sporting life, and that as soon as you are caught on that crossroads, there is only one winner, and that is you'll go towards the job and you lose out on sports. So once state steps in, that identification of talent, grassroots, start paying for them at a young age, take care of their education, study, stay, even once they reach a mature age, give them jobs where they can make money. That model, that Russian, Chinese model can only work in India.
Because in India, see, what we used to have is until the 70s and the 80s, we had government, total government sponsorship of most. After that, there was such a massive deterioration that we didn't even know what to do. I mean, our medals, we didn't get medals for 12 years. Then we were content with one medals in the 90s.
Government is still supporting you.
It is.
The top scheme and all that money
OGQ.
that you're getting. No, that's not a government thing. I'm saying even OGK and all, they don't sponsor athletes.
They don't.
They just give, let's say, okay, one trainer here and there. Majority of the money that the athletes are getting is still coming through government sources.
Yep.
Tops, SAI, they're the ones who are paying every year. Let's say Neeraj is a GSW athlete, they also support him, they pay for him, but the majority money they get is
from the government.
Through government. Same way Vinesh is a OGQ athlete, and OGQ and all go out of their way to help them, provide them with the expertise, fine, but they also don't have that kind of resources to pump money. The money comes from the government.
Yep.
And that will only have to increase for
yes.
you to do well. So that is the other thing. Next question, can we please see?
Yeah.
We've got Bhuvnesh Dhakar. He says, why is Pakistan media showing too much confidence on the Champions Trophy? What I think, Bhuvnesh, it's happened right now, and I think not all, but certain media channels or YouTube channels or YouTubers or whatever have started playing the role of mouthpieces for their own government, and there is a bit of nationalism involved, and I'm not saying it is done from either Pakistan side or Indian side, it is being done from both sides. Now what happens in that is, instead of sometime being objective in your reportage or just conveying the story, you try and be part of the story by saying, see, I am showing you my patriotism, and and you know, I have to, by my reportage, I have to create a mahal that, you know, so whether, let's say, hypothetically, if I'm a Pakistani, media person who's crossed the line of just reporting on the story and trying to be part of this, I will, with my reportage, show India that we are the boss, we can't take this now. So as soon as you start having this feeling, then you will start reporting that, forgetting that even if you hear something, that something may happen or India may not come or whatever, you'll try and ignore that and also try and pass on the message to your audience based on what you hear from, let's say, PCB who are hell-bent on having it, and you try and it could happen to an Indian YouTuber or an Indian reporter where they may get some information from the BCCI. Let's say the ICC is hell-bent on having it in Pakistan, but BCCI doesn't want it, and you want to just convey to your viewers what the BCCI wants. So you try and influence the minds, and you think while influencing the minds of your viewers, you're also influencing the decision makers by putting that reportage. And that, as I said, there will be people guilty from both sides that are doing it. the fact of the matter is that as things stand right now, or what I can tell you is that PCB have put their foot down. They're saying nothing doing. This is a multinational tournament. Previously you said bilateral nahi khelna. Previously you said ye nahi karna. This is a multinational tournament. Asia Cup is not that, so that can be moved. But this is an ICC event, multinational. We've been sending a team. You have to come here. India on the other side have their own concerns about what is happening in terms of cross-border terrorism, what is happening in terms of their fear for security of the players. They don't want to send their team. That's the reality. Both sides are right now digging their heels in. What will happen? It's an ongoing process. You and I both will wait and see what happens. But as we had mentioned on Sports Today long ago, that I will be really surprised if the Indian team travels to Pakistan to play the Champions Trophy. Yeah. I do not see that happening as of now. Whether Pakistan takes it well, whether they have a backup plan in mind, whether they take this issue up with ICC, whether ICC penalizing India, all of those options are there, and I completely agree. We don't know what will be the next course of action. I can only report from what I know from both sides. Pakistan is hell-bent that India should come. India is digging their heels and saying we won't send their team. And as of now, it is looking highly unlikely. I said it first time at the Cricket World Cup, right after India had won it, because the talk had started then. That was not my opinion. After having spoken to a few people who would be making the decision, that's the kind of feeling I got. So I conveyed it to our viewers. And that's it.
That's it, yeah. It's going to be a long drawn out process. I mean, if they go to Pakistan, it will be a minor miracle. Looking at the current situation, I don't think that. See, but how will the hybrid model then work? Because Pakistan did come to India for the ICC World Cup. This is an ICC event. The Asia Cup was an ACC event.
No, see, Siddharth, I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. Okay, again, that is a separate debate. Like you're saying that, see, Pakistan also came, and you have also said that bilateral series we don't want to play. This is not a bilateral series. It's an ICC event, and then the point will also be this, that okay, if India's hell bent on the fact that there is cross-border terrorism and this and that, and you don't want to have any cricketing relationship, that's fine. The problem there is, then why would you even want to have Pakistan come and play? And then you say we don't want to play. And I agree. Whether India going there, not going there is the right decision or wrong decision, whether it's fair on India or unfair by India, that's a different debate. I'm not even getting into that. Then our personal opinion comes. I may think it's fair, you may think it's unfair, or you may think it's fair, I may think it's unfair. That's fine. Those are opinions. I'm right now, that's what I'm trying to say, trying to communicate what the reality is at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
See, the debate of whether what India did was right or wrong if they do not travel there, and that's how the tournament happened, then that debate we can have once we know that they are not going, then that. Correct. But right now we don't know what will happen, but all I can report is that India is not keen on going there. Now what happens after that, let's see.
Yep, let's see. I think by September you may come to know about it, September or October.
Sure, yeah.
Let's see how that goes. So shaky vlogger from the UK is saying there is minimum wage set up by the government. That's why everyone earns decent money. Bin man earns more money than bank officer. That's why people don't need higher education. I think he's talking about the UK system.
So exactly what Shaky Vlogger is saying, which is what I pointed out, right? Western model, how that works for them, how that Western model may not work for our Olympic athletes. You're right. That's exactly what I spoke about. That, he's saying the one who, a trash collector in their countries, can get more than, let's say, a bank teller. Yep. Somebody who's clearing checks in the bank. He can. That's fine. And also, even when I'm saying more, see, there is equality of pay there. No matter what job you do, there is no, in our countries, there is a huge difference. If I am a
bank clerk compared to a corporate executive.
Yeah, no, if I'm giving the same example. If I am the one who picks up trash vis-a-vis a bank manager, there's a huge difference in pay.
Yep,
and there's a huge difference in lifestyle.
Correct.
That does not exist there. There is a huge difference in lifestyle if you are a CA vis-a-vis if you are driving an Uber. Correct. That's a fact in our country, right? There it isn't. So you could be a corporate executive working in a tall tower, fancy office, or you could be driving an Uber, you're roughly making the same amount.
Correct.
amount of money. So that's why those guys can chase their dream of keep playing sport without bothering about their livelihood.
Yep.
So that is the thing in the Western culture. We
Dignity
don't have
of
that.
labor.
Yeah, we don't have that. We have a huge, discrepancy in terms of number of hours put in the money that you make.
Correct.
Somebody can put in, if you're an investment banker, you can put in 5 hours and make a fortune, and you can be a guy who cleans the street who can put in 10 hours a day every
Correct.
day and still not make 1/100th of that guy, right? So
Yep.
that is the thing. That's why I say the Russian Chinese model kind of works.
It does.
Sarat Chandra. Nikhil sir, I asked Sid sir about Vinesh opponents getting bronze match, but Vinesh being disqualified. Sure, Sid sir said the rule, but not convinced. Isn't that a loophole? So yeah, so just so that everyone knows, what Sarat Chandra is saying, that if you have disqualified Vinesh for reaching the final, then people that she beat should not be playing the repechage and not be playing for bronze.
Yes.
What he is saying.
Yeah.
So in which case, Lopez, who then played the final, people that she beat should have been playing for the bronze. And he asked about it, and we quoted the rule. So you're right, as Siddharth also pointed out, the rules are clear in that they've already preempted this situation, and they put a rule that in case of disqualification of a finalist, the repechage will still happen with the contestants that he or she beat.
Yes, the disqualified athlete.
In that case, they followed the rule, and which is why the favor hasn't gone in Vinesh's favor. But I agree, logically, it makes no sense. If you ask me logically, that isn't. So if you disqualify a finalist, so in your eyes she's not a finalist, then everyone who she lost to should be out. Then the new finalist and everyone who has lost to that new finalist should come in. I know there are few logistical issues, like people pointed out that because it's a 2-day competition, if you reach the final, the players that have lost to you know that they have to go in for the repechage. If your contestant has not reached the final, their contestants who've lost already know they are out, so they can't be prepared next day. But of course you can change it. You can let every wrestler know that you are in the competition till such time the second day weigh-in happens.
Correct.
After the second day weigh-in, will anyone be eliminated or not? For example, Lopez also had to last moment change it. She must have been preparing for a repechage.
Yep.
But suddenly she's told she's playing the final. So there's an adjustment there, right? Similarly, what you need to do, I agree, if you've disqualified the athlete and she's not a finalist anymore, then anyone who lost to her should also be technically out. Then the other finalist, in which case this was the Cuban Lopez, then people that lost to her should be playing. You can't have her, Vinesh as a finalist, she's not classified, and there is a loophole that can be done. But even if the court had paid heed to this, then they would have said for future we need to change this, there needs to be a better system in place, but they wouldn't have made a decision retrospectively.
Yeah.
Because the rules were clear even before it started. But I agree, in the spirit and in the logical sense, this rule is a bit awkward. It doesn't add up. So it needs to be looked at, it needs to be changed going forward. In fact, if you ask me, many rules in wrestling need to change. I think if you're keeping it 50, then you don't need to weigh them on 2 days. You've checked them at the start, then once they're in competition, then allow them. Then the competition has started, and if they need to load themselves, feed themselves, and so that you don't force them to do inhuman things like, starve yourself, dehydrate yourself, then once they've, on the day of the competition, start of the day of the competition, they're fine, then let them compete. After that, whatever they're eating is fine, their wish. And that will be equal for everyone.
Yeah.
Just eat whatever you want to, so that you don't put the athlete go through those torturous situation, and it should be for everyone. So you come to the competition in your perfect condition, you go for the weigh-in, okay, you're below 50, thumbs up, you're in, now fight for 2 days, or push it to 1 day if you want.
Like the old system which used to happen prior to 2012.
Yeah. Sushil, I remember that in Beijing, fought
throughout.
Straight.
Yep, straight.
Same day, came in repechage, fought everything, finish it like that. But if you think that also takes a toll on the athlete, you want to do it over 2 days, so that you think 4 bouts are
correct,
way too much, or 5 bouts are way too much, you want to reduce it, fair enough, because it is tiring, those 6-minute bouts are fair enough, but then don't do the counting, because this way injuries also can happen. You're not eating, you're dehydrating, no thing, you'll have somebody collapse, someone be taken to hospital. Why would you want that? Keep a weighing in, because weighing in is needed. It's a sport that is based on weighing. You can't have Do it first day, test everyone. Okay, you all are in 50 gram, everyone is passed now. 2-day competition, eat what you want, come to the mat fit and hydrated, healthy, fighter bounce. Simple.
Vinesh didn't have time. That was the major problem.
See, there are lots of issues that she should have chosen 53, but 53 wasn't an
already
option.
done, yeah.
But I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. So if day one, if she did not make it day one, then it's another thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, even before your first bout, you've not made it, sorry, you're overweight, out. And you disqualify her, no problem. But if she's made it day one, after that, if she's fighting 2 bouts, she has to be replenished. That's the argument that the lawyers also fought. That's also inhuman, right?
It is.
So I agree, the rules were already there and you had to follow. She's lost, you know, based on rules, fine. But so that it doesn't happen to anyone in the future, you don't have more cases like Vinesh where forget about qualification, disqualification, they don't starve themselves, don't eat, don't sleep the whole night. You want athletes to go and enjoy an Olympian, don't make scenarios like that. So day one, do the weight. If you are within it, you fight for your 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
Or if you're not within, out. Start of the competition, you don't make it.
Exactly.
Many things can be done anyway.
Yeah, that's the problem. See, Vinesh, anyway, as I said, no time. She didn't have any time to adjust to the weight. The wrestler who won gold, Sarah Hildebrand, she had 2 years. Vinesh just had 5 months.
I know exactly, but see, she came to the competition sub 50, right?
Sub 50.
That's it.
And this was the second time it happened with her.
So
8 years ago, 2016, she was 1 kilo overweight.
Yeah, so
that was already an amber sign that boss, maintaining weight in 50 kilos is one of the most toughest thing ever.
But that was still easier. She was 8 years younger.
Yeah.
So her natural body weight was also less.
Yes.
Here, imagine how she
was natural weight is 55 to adjust to 50.
Yeah.
Tough.
Exactly.
Really, really tough. So that's why, yeah, you have to feel for her, but then the rules are the rules. You can't help it. I mean, as I had said that, yes, she was fighting an uphill battle, and if she had fought on the rules alone, she stood no chance. Which is why I had mentioned, there is clear-cut subclause 9 of Article 14 in the UWW rules, which states anybody, 1 to 4, whoever is the gold, silver match and bronze medal game, whoever that athlete is disqualified, whoever she eliminated will all go 1 notch up. That was the clear-cut classification. Others were pointing the loophole out, but that is the rule.
No, nobody's denying the rule wasn't there, but I'm saying the rule doesn't add up. Technically, you're counting her as a finalist then. She should not be. Yeah, I mean, why is repechage? See, you got to what is the why is there a repechage? It is there
second
to
chance.
decide to decide the third best athlete.
Yeah.
What they are saying is that the third best athlete, how does other sport decide? Semi-finalists play and they decide. But they are saying because wrestling is such, there could be a person who lost in the first round to the eventual winner. So that person can be third best.
Yep.
But just because it didn't reach the semis, you're not giving them a chance. That is the whole sentiment behind repechage. But you're defying that by the disqualified athlete, the guys who've lost to them by. So that disqualified person is no more a finalist.
Yep.
Then how is it the people that have lost to be playing? Then Lopez is the finalist. Everyone, now I'm saying I'm the athlete who lost to Lopez in the first round. I will say I lost to the second best wrestler. So I could be third best. Give me a chance.
Yeah.
So the whole reason for having repechage is that, but you're defying that by this rule. That's why I'm saying the rule doesn't add up. I'm not saying that change it, give it to her. The rule was mentioned, but whoever drafted the rule does not see the spirit or the logic behind the rule. The logic says that the third best wrestler should get the bronze and not the losing semi-finalist. The third best wrestler. How do you decide the third best wrestler? Did the one who lost to Lopez have a chance to fight Susaki? No. So he or she can claim I'm the third best wrestler and my person has reached the final. Hers is disqualified. She's not even a finalist. How is she getting a chance to fight for the bronze? I should be fighting. The logic is that. So what you got to do is either you count Vinesh as a finalist, then allow the ones that have lost, or you do not count her as a finalist. Then whoever is your finalist, allow those guys to compete for the bronze. That's what I'm saying. So the spirit is, or the logic behind the law that was created is not being followed by saying that no, even the disqualified athletes will fight.
Yeah.
Doesn't add up. So going forward, they need to sit and understand that law. That why is it that we had this law in the first place? To honor the third best wrestler. Are we honoring the third best wrestler? by going by disqualification. That is a problem.
Yeah.
So in fact, in their books, they have counted Vinesh as the finalist. That's why Sasaki got a chance to fight. That's why the Ukrainian got a chance to fight.
Achha.
In their books, she is the finalist. That's why these guys are getting.
Yep.
But she is not the finalist.
She got a
She's
DQ
disqualified. The finalist is Lopez, who's fighting the final, but the one she has lost to are not in the repechage. So it's just there is a loophole there.
There is a loophole, but then again, logistically,
No, but I'm
logically, logic would have failed in this sense because it was then.
No, but how? Everyone else is waiting next day for that thing. That's why I'm saying, see, you've got to correct something that is not right. As I said, the basis of repechage is to honor the third best wrestler.
Yeah.
So how do you decide the third best wrestler? By saying the two guys who've reached the final, ones that have lost to them could be the third best. Because unfortunately for them, they came up against these guys early on. That's the logic.
Because see, it's like similar to doping offense when suppose, for example, 2008, the best 4x100 meter relay happened, Jamaica won. They got the gold medal, but because one guy tested positive,
No,
the gold medal was taken away from all the three.
Yes, because but that's different. There is an unfair advantage that one guy took. And that one guy's unfair advantage gives you 2 seconds, which is the difference between winning and losing. So he should be. There's no discrepancy there. Nobody will object to that. There is a problem. There is a problem. You took doping, you faltered, you went. What you're saying here is that in this case, one person's mistake, why should others have to pay for it? They're not the same team. There is your teammate who's erred. The wrestler who lost to Lopez is not her fault. She's playing the final. Similarly, if you go the other way, Sasaki might say it's not my thing. So you have to come up with a system where Sasaki also gets to fight the Lopez person. How do you know who the third best wrestler in that is? Because now either the disqualified athlete also you count the ones that she's lost and Lopez, and have the repechage, have those 2 more wrestlers added to repechage and multiple people fight. You have to find the third best, right? But in this case, you're not finding.
Anyway, Sasaki made it to the repechage, irrespective of whether Vinesh was DQ.
We know that she would have won anyway. That's another thing. That's another thing. Take Sasaki out and XYZ is there. So if their wrestler has reached the final, they are in the repechage, but then that guy is disqualified. Somebody else is playing the final, and I lost to that guy who's playing the final. I'm saying, boss, my guy is playing the final. He beat me. I should be in repechage.
Because this is the first time it's ever happened in wrestling, by the way. Yeah.
Correct. So this is where they will now have to sit and see, boss, the logic why we have repechage was not
correct
executed. So we have to find a way how we fix this, whereby if an athlete is disqualified, what happens to the repechage? Who do we count? And if we count, are we fair on the X or the Y side?
Yep.
Which side are we? Or do we include both sides so that there is a clear-cut number 3?
I thought they would change the rules, but I think straight away dismissive thing. That's what surprised me in the Vinesh bit.
No, but you never know. They could be, see again, in the verdict right now you can't give it retrospectively.
Yeah.
So you've gone on. But there could be a thing, there could be a time where they
might change the rule.
They could.
Yeah.
We'll also have to wait for a detailed order to come. It's not yet come.
Any idea when it
We
might
don't know,
come?
but whenever it does, there is no rush in that, right?
Yeah,
the decision has been taken. That can come in 1 week, 10 days, how does it matter? That order will have repercussion for the sport. And there is nothing immediate happening in that sport. So whenever that comes, it's okay. And in fact, if they spend time over it, it's good, because at least they'll come up with recommendations that are maybe what we are debating could be something that they have to come up with and advise UWW that you better sort out. It could be even for the inhuman things that we were speaking about, and say that listen, 2-day weighing is not right. Either do it a 1-day competition or do the 1-day weighing in. I think that's better, so that athletes don't put themselves under such stress. We don't know.
Yeah, but it gave us a lot.
Maybe that's why it took time for them to take up.
Yeah.
Maybe at the start of them they knew that they'll have to dismiss it because rules have been followed. But we need to spend time as to come up with clauses that need fixing.
Correct.
Going forward.
Yeah, it gave us a lot to talk about though. The Vinesh situation.
See, the thing is, how else would we ever know that what rule is fair or not? Today we're discussing, right? There are loopholes in X, Y, Z areas. And these need to be debated and figured out going forward.
Yep. Sharan Vinakota saying, hi ST team, congrats on 500k Nikhil bhai, welcome. Well, thank you Sharan for that. Question, do you think parents' investment in a child's sporting career also makes a lot of difference to sporting culture in India, where government facilities are lacking. Parents' investment in a child's sporting career, does it make a lot of difference to sporting culture in India, where government facilities are lacking at this point?
That is true. I mean, it does. You need supporting parents, right,
Yeah,
to allow you to pursue your dream, passion, whatever, rather than burden you with other things. That makes a huge difference. But I know of a lot of cases where even though parents haven't supported, but there have been other people that have stepped in, whether they've been local coaches, school, whatever, have taken them under the wings and helped them. But I'm saying, even if there are parents who can't support, and there are a lot of athletes who come from backgrounds where they don't have the wherewithal, the parents don't have. But the thing is, so long as parents have even given them the freedom to play, sometimes rest of the things take care of themselves. So
exactly.
Especially facilities in the schools.
Yeah, no, facilities everywhere. But I'll tell you, see, I agree that our facilities are not that level. But I will also tell you, I'll give you a few examples. Let's take football, for example, right? We keep saying that we don't do well because we don't have infrastructure. I have traveled and I've spoken to a lot of football coaches, where some of the best talents come from African countries which do not even have the kind of infrastructure we have. Yep. So it is also sometimes about raw talent. I agree that infrastructure, right coaching methods and all of those things will only make it better, but nobody can stop a raw talent. Like Neeraj comes from the hinterland, right?
Yeah.
He had natural talent. So he went to a stadium, started throwing, became like that. There are a lot of other athletes, who have come through without any major facilities. That's okay. They grew up like MS Dhoni. You've seen the story. Borrowed kit, bat, idhar se, didn't have great pitches, matting pe khelte the, whatever. He was not groomed like a Delhi, Bombay kid who had the best turf wickets.
Saurabh Chaudhary shooting.
Yeah, a lot of people. So they just go through once they become. No, but now your Olympic guys are all from small places. Big cities se kaun aata hai?
Very few.
All come, and now even your cricket has changed.
Yeah, the Delhi Bombay nexus has gone.
All your guys come from
Bombay.
You look at your teams now, where now from UP only there are so many places, Muradabad, here, there, everywhere players are coming. Where could you think of those players earlier? If they had to move to Delhi or
Correct.
other places, then only they could go. Now they play wherever they are from, and they can.
The last, if you may look at city-bred Olympic medalist, would be Abhinav Bindra.
Yeah, Chandigarh,
2008.
Yeah, but if you look at hardcore, your entire hockey team comes from small towns.
Small towns, yes. Gagan Narang shooting, would be
but shooters still come from city bred. But I'm talking about like hardcore sport. Look at your wrestlers. They are from Delhi. A lot of them are from Delhi, but they follow the age-old. If you go to Chhatrasal, it may be in Delhi.
Yeah,
but the working systems is like from any small
Haryana,
little town. So
exactly.
People come,
Yeah, not many from the city. Even I think cricket is the only exception to the norm. You look at Bombay clout is still there.
Yeah.
There's Rohit, there is Shreyas.
That should be there. There should be a mix of both sides. I'm not saying that only one area.
Yeah. Dhoni was the outlier. He was from Jharkhand. At a time, 2007, when Jharkhand wasn't producing. West Bengal hardly has...
I'm saying even earlier, like Kapil Dev also, when he came from Chandigarh wasn't a big town then.
Yeah.
Where now it's become a big city. He came through the ranks.
He came through, yes.
So let's take more questions. Saroj Patro says, since hockey is doing well consistently, will you guys be following the Pro League, Champions Trophy, etc.? But we always do.
Pro League, for example, I used to give small updates, which I would give you on the Pro League. And there is no Champions Trophy at this point in time. The World Cup will happen in 2026 in Belgium and Amsterdam. So we will be covering that also. And whenever
we would like some love from you guys as well. We do cricket videos, and a lot of you end up watching. He did Pro League throughout the year. How many people are excited to watch? So it goes back on the interest of people as well. But we did it on Sports Today.
When the Pro League happens, when any hockey series happens, we will be there on Sports Today for that. Indeed.
Vinesh Do you think funding for other sports by government of India is enough to afford foreign coaches in the sports like swimming, gymnastics? Yeah. Why not? I mean, we are one of the biggest economies in the world. Yeah, I think we can set aside. We have a big sports budget as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying only, there are other now private players that have stepped in. There are advertisers coming in. Companies are taking it as a CSR. So I don't think money now is that much of an issue. You hear the whole interview with Prakash Padukone, as he mentioned.
Yeah.
Things are there, it's available. You just have to ensure we have a sporting culture. We keep talking about that population, 1.4 billion. How many of them play sport, right?
Yep.
It's interesting, we discussed it that day. I just saw a tweet yesterday from Abhinav Bindra saying exactly that what is our sporting base? It's okay to say 1.6 billion we are, but you can have whatever. How many are invested into sport?
Correct.
That is important.
The same question was raised by Sunil Chhetri also in one of the...
Yeah. Sanket Kumar Sahu says, Nikhil sir, how many medals do you expect us to win in the Paralympics?
Well, today
That's done the analysis.
Yeah, so when I did go for the Paralympic send-off, they were very, very sure about it. Ab ki baar 25 baar. They are expecting 25 medals and their main aim is to be in the top 20. And 25 from them, you may think it's way beyond, but no, in 2021 Tokyo, the Paralympic contingent won 19 medals. So that is why 6 further increase. That's what Devendra Jhajaria also told me about it. So you can check that out. Why people are confident about 25 medals. The interview will be out with Devendra Jhajaria on that. So 25, that's the Nara.
Wow, good one.
Indeed.
Okay. एक जगह रोक दें please. Tushar, thank you for your kind comments. Love back to you as well. Thank you for watching Sports Today and keep subscribing. Thank you for watching our reports. Very kind of you to say that. Okay, let's go up. Inike, Nikhil bhai, Murid ki samajh aa gayi. Met you and Vicky Paji and Sunny Paji after the semi-final, just before the interview. Not sure you remember me. What keeps you so humble? Love and respect from Boston. Oh, Mike, thank you. I may have met you after the semi-final. I remember now. Mike, I remember. You are from the Northwest Frontier, if I'm not mistaken, from Pakistan. Now I remember. Yes. Thank you so much for watching our program, subscribing to us. Thank you once again.
Yep.
Yes, now I remember. Semi-final Guyana. He came. He's a scientist, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Works in US in Boston. And usually I meet Pakistanis. They've got that Punjabi touch.
Yes.
He did not have it. So I asked him. He's from the Northwest Frontier. So he had that Pathani style of talking. Yeah.
Wow, nice. He's a scientist. Lovely.
He was, yes. Okay, Shubham is saying, Nikhil sir, do you think country matters during greatest Olympian debate, as no one brings up
Mian Lopez, 5-time gold medal winner during those debates.
The wrestler?
Yes, Cuban.
Yeah, of course, Cuban. I know. He's retired after this. Yeah. Country, I agree with you, like it or not. If you are an American, a Brit, or a Frenchman,
European,
you are. Because, the Western media does dominate the narrative. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Just because he's Cuban does not come in.
I know.
But unless you're Usain Bolt, then there is no debate, even though he's not American, because he was so far ahead of the competition that you have to bring him in the greatest of them all. Yeah.
Otherwise, there was Armand Duplantis who really set the stage on fire.
We had him in our coverage.
Yes. Leon Marchand.
We left Marchand out and got Duplantis in, so that we do an even thing.
9-time
Nadeem, and nobody was talking about him, put him in our discussion.
9-time world record breaker. What a freak.
I saw that jump of his, that world record.
Babka or Duplantis for you?
Yeah, Babka, because again, old, and he was also maverick.
He was a record-breaking machine, Sergei Babka.
Correct.
Yeah, but I think for me, the moment was Botswana, challenging America in athletics. Tegobo, man, a country that has been ravaged by disease and AIDS and for so many decades, now is challenging the might of America in athletics. For me, that was the moment of the Olympics.
True. Okay, Ashish Dhar. Nikhil, I have experience of having natural strawberry ice cream in gardens of Panchgani, a small beautiful place just before Mahabaleshwar.
Of course.
I know that. I've been there.
Lovely
I've been
place.
to Panchgani many times.
Awesome.
Lucky you. And what did this comment come? Did we talk about it?
Strawberries and nothing. We didn't.
I gave that one story about I don't know whether.
In Paris, you must have given something.
No. Something else.
Okay.
Anyway, China is also emerging in swimming now. That's true. That is true.
Yeah, I mean, they have been there since the 80s as the swimming powerhouse, China, especially in diving, in rhythmic swimming.
But now swimming competition which is dominated by the West
Yeah.
to come up. I mean, it was the Australians, the Americans, and
Now it's the French.
Europeans, all of them. Now, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you had 3 continents. If you look at 2 continents in the women's section also, there was Summer McIntosh in Canada, then you had Katie Ledecky, US, then you had Ariarne Titmus in Australia. It was called the race of the century. 3 greats racing in that. It was fantastic to watch at that point.
Yep. Okay, Pankaj wants to know Ishan Kishan's knock today in Buchi Babu.
Well, I have done a video which will be out very soon on why after December 2022, this is one of the most important knocks that Ishan Kishan has played. I mean, now and the Dulip Trophy that he's going to play in, the selectors are going to get a nice headache, as people are saying.
Okay, Priyanshu says, great Olympic coverage, Nikhil sir and Sidvi. If Rohit retires from Test after WTC 25, do you think Gill is ready to take captaincy in ODI and Test after WTC 25, or do you think Roh can continue in both formats till 27? Ooh.
Well, Harbhajan Singh did mention that during this period, came during the Olympic period only. He said that Virat and Rohit, looking at the fitness and the form that they're playing only 2 formats, they can play for the next 5 years, which means until the 2027 ODI World Cup.
Ooh.
And if Rohit retires from Tests in WTC 2025, firstly, I don't think he is retiring. I don't think so. And do you think Gill is ready to captain ODI and Tests? No. I honestly don't think he's ready for it. With the inconsistency that he's currently showing, Shubman Gill, unfortunately, I think Rohit is playing 2 formats until 2027. I don't see, because 2026 anyway, he will have nothing to look forward to. It's a T20 World Cup year. You don't even play the WTC, and WTC 27 and World Cup, they got on the ultimate of ice. So Harbhajan Singh did mention that 5 years they can play, both Rohit and Virat.
Deepu says, hello gents, Olympic is loss making for economy since 2004. What you're thinking on this, as we are developing country, investing billions will cause repercussions? See, Deepu, you're confusing the 2 things. Organizing Olympics has been a loss-making exercise, but I think investing in your athletes is not a loss-making exercise. I think you as a country end up gaining a lot. We keep talking about our image in the West, and there is so much politics being played on that and relations in the West. One of your biggest soft power or PR activity is doing well in sports. So just as you try and exceed in tech by sending a satellite to space, you try because you want to be a world power, and if that is what you try to achieve, you cannot be a world power without. Look at China; they wanted to emerge, to compete against the Americans. It was earlier Russia and America.
Yeah.
It wasn't just on economy, it was also being fought on the sporting field. China decided to do that. They've had to come and fight on the sporting field. So you can't be considered a top country in the world where everywhere else and in the Olympics finish 70th. So can't. So investing in sport for your athletes is not. Organizing an Olympic is a loss-making exercise, but also you can manage it well, like Paris did this time. They did not lay out the red carpet. They said, let's do it in an economical way. We already have infrastructure. We're going to use that.
Correct.
Majority of the money you spend up doing that, and you recover a lot through tourism and other sponsorship and various things. If India wants to do it, I would advise, I know they're talking about Ahmedabad and so on and so forth. You should ideally do it in a country that, in a city that already has the infrastructure. Delhi is hosted the Commonwealth Games not too long ago.
And the Asian Games also.
Yeah, all facility is available.
And whenever we have hosted major sporting events, there's been an upgradation in infrastructure. I mean, 1982 Asian Games in Delhi, Delhi got connected by phone with proper facilities throughout for the first time.
Yeah.
So that's why it led to a boom in technology.
2010 Commonwealth Games, the infrastructure
was massive.
So, I mean, you can do it if you do it smartly. I think Paris has shown the way that they've not splurged, they've not tried to be, show offs like other countries. They all look what big thing, and they kept it,
9.8
economical
billion.
within the limits. That's half. There was 20 billion around Tokyo. They've cut it by more than half. That's all you need.
Absolutely.
That's all you need. Then that becomes a sustainable game.
Yep, indeed.
Vishal, Nikhil and Siddharth, what is your top 5 sport achievement after independence till now? Oh my God, that's a tough one. What is your top 5 sport achievement? I mean, Neeraj Chopra gold medal has to be one.
Abhinav Bindra.
Close call, but I'm going to wait on that.
First individual gold medal winner.
There are lots of other things. If I start now, you have to fit 5, my friend. 5. There are hockey golds that you have. They are going to be cricket 83 World Cup, I think will rank 1 compared to all other World Cup. So assuming you're not going to take other World Cups.
Yeah.
Because by that time you'd become a cricketing powerhouse unexpected. So 2007 T20 World Cup could be that, because again a new format, young team.
Correct.
So, I mean,
1948 London Olympics gold hockey
that's
team.
what I'm saying. There are, to just zero in on the 5. I guess it's not going to be easy. I mean, there are 2 medals by Sushil, by Sindhu.
Manu.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's very tough to
KD Jadhav, first individual medal winner for independent India.
Yeah, exactly.
You have number 1 is 83 World Cup, number 2 is...
No, number 1 has to be Neeraj Chopra gold medal. Nothing will come close.
Number 2 is 83.
Yeah, I mean, again, as I said, after independence is tough because a lot of things happened early on. I mean, your hockey gold medals in Olympic
48,
Games.
52, 56.
Exactly. How do you...
Dead situation.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are not counting 71, where you won series in West Indies and England.
Your hockey World Cup also 75.
75. Major achievement. That's the only World Cup you won.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe if you narrow that debate down to, let's say, since the time we've started watching sport, then that will be an easier list to make.
From 1990, for me, 1990.
No, 80s. You can
80s.
take 83 World Cup. Yeah.
83 World Cup, yeah.
India's first test match.
Yeah, test match series win. I mean,
Australia.
Yeah, Border Gavaskar win in Australia. The test series win, I agree, are massive. Very tough. Very, very tough. Thomas Cup win.
Yeah, 2022 Thomas Cup win. The biggest ever badminton achievement we have had.
Yeah.
That's true.
Who would have thought? So very tough, yeah. But maybe it's a good topic for someday we sit down and discuss.
Top 5 sporting events, yes. Can happen. Mr. Shekhar GTN from the US is saying, once again, welcome back, Nick sir.
Thank you, Shekhar.
Which series loss was more embarrassing? Bangladesh 2022 or SL 2024?
It's a good one.
For me, it's SL because this was India with Kohli and Rohit and coming on the back of World Cup win.
No, but even Bangladesh.
Yeah, I mean, you lost in 2022.
Bangladesh shouldn't have Rohit and Virat.
You had
did.
Rohit. Your Rohit was injured after the first game. So.
But Virat was there.
Yeah.
KL was there, I remember.
KL was there. Ishan was there. Shubman was there. But even here, I mean, all your big guns were there and you had won the World Cup and you're coming back for this against a Sri Lankan team decimated by injury. 5 of their key bowlers not been there. Yet you lost 2-0. You didn't win a single game. I think I would agree with him. It's the Sri Lanka loss. That too you won after coming 3-0 in the T20 ice. And thanks to our very, very competent officials that they could not follow the rule. There should have been a super over.
Acha.
In that tie that happened, he said, okay, game tied, you go home. But wait a minute, why wasn't a super over? They conveniently forgot. That's why I don't understand. Either they also wanted to watch the Olympics, or I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I was watching the Olympics.
Yeah. But first match was tied, and I cannot, and of course it was played on target pitches, and India's weakness on spin again. Bangladesh, you had far more, you may say, placid wickets. But you hadn't won in Bangladesh, you lost in 15, you lost in 22. So that's why this is more embarrassing. Sri Lanka.
Chalo, on that note, we've gone on for an hour.
Yep.
And thank you for your company. I know lots of questions we could not, but we've answered as many as we could. But we'll have more opportunities going forward. We will only have multiple Q&As since not much is.
This can be the 5 greatest sporting achievements.
Let's do this. Okay. Final comment from Shaky Vlogger says, Nikhil sir, I think even BCCI wants Pakistan versus India game, but not in Pak soil. BCCI don't want, then ICC will never put the same group every ICC. No, BCCI does, but I don't think at the cost of sending their team to Pakistan. And again, a lot of these decisions are taken. It's above BCCI's pay grade also, so it's even at a higher level. BCCI will just have to abide by what decision is taken.
Yep.
Okay then.
See you.
Bye bye.
Vanakkam, Nandri, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, eat your vegetables, and since Shashwat's not there, don't trouble your mother.
Bye.
He always, that's his takya galam.